Welcome to Simplicity and Statutory Coverage, a Standard Security Life Insurance Company podcast, where we aim to simplify statutory insurance in detail while supplying practical insights to you, our listener, whether you're an insurance professional, employer, or claim applicant. We'll break down the complexities of required disability and family leave coverage by means of references from trusted sources. We'll interview industry professionals with decades of experience in this market, and we'll offer answers to some of the most frequently asked questions, all for your benefit. Today's episode is sponsored by Small Group New York State DBL with Standard Security Life Insurance Company, providing low-cost statutory benefit premium rates for groups in New York State with 1 to 49 employees. Welcome to an interview with Scott Boughton, President of Standard Security Life Insurance Company, and additionally, Chief Claims Officer of Reliance Matrix. Thank you for doing this interview today, Scott. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Hiram. I'm glad to chat with you today.
Great. We just wanted to cover a few topics regarding management and staffing relations and get your opinion and see what experience you have and what insights you can offer, what processes and systems are in place, and how we can also additionally develop talent and skill sets that maybe some people would like to get better at that presently they're working on. We also wanted to talk about new technologies and how that would integrate in the future. We know Standard Security is starting to integrate some of the things that Reliance Matrix has used, and you guys have definitely already been at the forefront of what's going on. And so as you've come over, we just want to see what else is available and what the future holds.
Yeah, sounds great.
So if we could start off regarding management and staffing relations, since you've become the president of Standard Security Life, what have you learned about the organization and the team members?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and over the past year since I've been in this role, it's been really fun to find out about the organization, and really our greatest asset is our people. And it's always like that in an insurance company, but in particular, I found at Standard Security, some of the most hardworking people that I've worked with. They come to work every day, always focused on our customer, really looking to solve problems. They work hard. They come in with a lot of zest in their day-to-day work, and they've really been resilient, especially going through a transition. That's never an easy thing, especially when you're being bought by another company. You don't know what's going to happen, and the great thing is that everybody still has their jobs. There was no impact to our staff. We really wanted to bring the Standard Security team into the Reliance Matrix family, and we did just that. And we really didn't have any bumps in the road. There's always conversations to figure things out and make things work and get aligned. But outside of that, it's been a great experience so far.
Well, on behalf of the staff, I would like to say thank you. That's a very nice compliment. With regards to the integration of Standard Security into Reliance Matrix and Tokyo Marine, those were very large, or they are very large corporations. Compared to us, we've been more of a mom and pop shop in terms of size and structure. How do you think we've integrated into the culture so far?
I actually think it's been pretty seamless. When we first did our due diligence, when we were looking at Standard Security, one of the things that really stood out was our cultures were very similar. When I think about Reliance Standard, when I joined the organization almost 7 years ago now, it's a kind of a small family feel. Even though we're a little bit bigger than Standard Security, we really had similar cultures, really focused on helping each other, helping our customers, just the way we interact with each other, the teamwork, everybody's always willing to help each other. And that really has played out and matched almost perfectly to a degree. Our teams work really seamlessly together, whether it's our policy admin team working with the Reliance Matrix underwriting team or the policy team, and then same thing with the claim operations. They've really worked together so easily. And the greatest thing is just being able to share knowledge, share resources, technology, and we've seen a lot of those things start to come through, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's really been great to see that the positive energy that has come between the teams and the leadership teams facilitating that and making sure that we're taking any potential roadblocks away and really saying, how do we make it work? And it's really been positive.
That's wonderful. Glad to hear it. I think that speaks a lot to how Gary Belzofiore, the former president, ran things at Standard Security Life, as well as the two major components in terms of claims and policy, with Christine Newfrock running claims and Val Strobel running the policy side. It was always a seamless integration between the three of them in terms of what they wanted. So I'm glad to hear that that worked out well.
Absolutely.
And for those who are listening now, we'll be interviewing Val and Christine Newfrock in the near future separately as well to get more insights from them on how they felt about it. In terms of processes and systems, as we move forward in the ownership of Standard Security by Reliance Matrix, what are the greatest opportunities in business now and on into the future to grow?
Really good questions. I would probably say the top two would be, first would be growth and competition. I think those are always challenges for any company. And then the second would be technology. So from a growth and competition standpoint, Standard Security has been a major player in the DBL and PFL marketplace with New York statutory coverages. But there's an opportunity. We have a great model that we have with our teams that we think we can leverage in providing even more value to our brokers, our general agents, and our policyholders for their employees, specifically adding more products and services to what we do, because we have so much to offer. If we can leverage that and be able to offer more products out to the market, whether it's a life insurance policy, potentially a dental or vision coverage, those are things that we are looking to integrate in the near future into our product portfolio. And we're also looking at expanding outside of New York from a PFL and statutory products mix. And our goal is to be able to administer those policies that are coming up. One of the big challenges there is the regulatory environment. Every state is very different in their statutory coverages, and there's obviously a lot of competition. We have a lot of new coverages in these states that are popping up, whether it's Oregon, Colorado, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and the list goes on. So keeping up with all those laws and what's new, those are other kind of challenges tied to competition and so on and so forth. But we really want to grow as an organization. It's the greatest opportunity for us to not just be in one market and expand with other products. On the technology side, what I'd say just generically is that it's really all about finding the right solution. There has been an explosion of technology in the insurance space. 10 years ago, none of this existed, right? Maybe even 5 years ago, none of this existed. And what we're seeing now is just a plethora of different options being offered by a variety of tech firms. And the challenge is finding the ones that would really work. I've been in the marketplace now and for a long time, and over the last 5 years, I've met with over 100 different vendors doing different things with technology to try to sell you what you want to hear, and they get you to buy their tools. We've tested some of them worked, some of them haven't. But I will say that there is technology out there that will help us from a service capability standpoint, streamline our processes, make our decision-making processes much faster, and which ultimately helps our clients on the whether it's our brokers, policyholders, GAs. Those things are really important to them, making sure that we can interface as well. So there's a lot of technology out there. So it's how do you find the right fit for each application that you're trying to solve for.
Interesting. Would you say that the reason for rolling these new add-ons or additional products or technologies is done in a controlled way to make sure they're done right?
Absolutely. That's really the only way to roll these services out, especially when you're starting new. There's a lot that goes into launching a new product. Obviously starting with the policy and the contract itself, making sure folks fully understand it. You have to make sure your systems are fully set up, tested, and is every possible scenario that we can get to before we roll it out. And then obviously, how do you start rolling it out and rolling it out small to start with, and then going big as we move forward. But it's definitely a challenge to make sure you have all the information you need. Again, especially when you talk about the PFL coverages, because they are very different. So you got to make sure you have the right controls. Your systems have the controls to make sure that they're managing the leaves and the claims in the right way. So those are super critical to making those work.
Okay. To continue on the topic about technology that you mentioned, how do you imagine the digital integration of emerging technologies, which is something you referred to, for a statutory insurance operation with legacy systems when the competition is already applying these new technologies? Mm-hmm. How can we, I don't want to say compete, but how can we work in the same field and do well versus what our competition is doing because they're already so far advanced?
Yeah, I think that our competition isn't as far ahead of us as we think they are. There's a lot of good things being done in the market, so it's not to say there's not advancements being made. I know, as an example, at Reliance Matrix, we're in the process of going through a system transformation, moving to a more contemporary technology that will allow us to manage claims better, our policy admin process. And those are technologies we'll be bringing to SSL as well as we kind of move forward. It's just a timing process of how do we get those things integrated and planned, and again, doing it right, just like we talked about before. But there's definitely technologies out there that exist today that we're already looking at. How do we kind of move to them? But there's also some interim things that we are doing, whether it's the use of robotics to help us with processes that are repetitive in nature, so we can use those types of technologies. But really, it's just how do we make sure that the technology we use doesn't disrupt our service. And that's the key to all of this, is making sure that our folks that are servicing our customers, whether they're claimants or policyholders or brokers, they have what they need to do their job and do it effectively. And that's what we're trying to accomplish over the next several years, because it does take time to integrate these different pieces. When you have a legacy system, getting off of that legacy is harder than getting on a new system. So how do you move all that work? So it's a lot to plan for. It's a lot to get ready and test and prepare people. So there's a lot of change management involved with that. So we'll be looking at new technology, but again, we're going to choose the right technology that fits our business, but is focused on either helping our folks provide better service, because that's ultimately what we're trying to do.
I appreciate that. I just read an article in The Economist by Tokyo Marine, which was put out there this week, where Mr. Ota, one of the senior members of the staff there, mentioned that there were a lot of opportunities for AI in the processing of claims, sort of in the base level initial reception of information, to sort of filter out and or decide what needed to be added. And it was encouraging to hear, because everywhere we go, we're seeing this technology starting to pop up. Yep. And so to know that it's possible that it will be used will be great for the business, and I'm sure for those policyholders, claimants, and insurance professionals that do business with us already.
Yeah, we're actually using AI and machine learning models within our processes at Reliance Matrix. We expect to bring those into standard security as well. And the way we're using AI is really claims guidance. That's how we leverage it. It's not to have a machine make a decision for us. What we use it for is to analyze all the data in our files and be able to summarize it, and also pinpoint areas of focus or areas where we think there's opportunity to get somebody back to work. How can we predict when somebody should go back to work based on their disability, but also take into account all the other pieces of information, whether it's a phone call, a conversation that you have. So our claims examiners still own the decision. So it's not a robot making some random decision to, approve a file or deny a file. It's really about providing information to the claims examiner to make the best decision decision. And those are things that we're looking to continue to develop and evolve to different parts of the process. In claims, we're also doing it on our pricing and underwriting side, some level of using AI. So that's definitely here, and it's here to stay. But what we're trying to do is figure out how to harness it and where are the best applications for it to get us the best bang for the result, biggest bang for our buck. So.
Thank you for that clarification. I think that's going to put a lot of people at ease to know that it's not the machine, but it's just an aid for the person who's still making the human touch possible as part of our service, because that's definitely been a hallmark of Standard Security. We're very big on always making sure that a human is touching things for the sake of understanding the reality and not just the raw information.
Yeah, and I do make that very clear that this is something where it's a tool. It's not the end all be all, and it's something that we have to continue to monitor and see. As this evolves, the Chat GPTs and the other tools that are out there, it can quickly get away with you if you let it. And so we're really hyper focused on that. We have strategies around AI in terms of how we use it, when we use it. It's usually a constrained system, so we're not going outside to the internet and sharing our information. It's all within our firewalled systems. So that's really what we're focused on, making sure if we use it, we're using it the right way.
Great, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Here at Standard Security, you oversee about 65 to 75 people, give or take, depending on the season. But at Reliance Matrix, you oversee over 1,000 people, and so we would be remiss if we didn't ask if you have any best practices or any insights into how to multitask, because I'm sure on a day-to-day basis, managing those two parties, there's a lot of things that you have to be able to do simultaneously. So if someone's looking to sharpen their multitasking skill, which is outside of computer skills, probably the most important skill anyone can have, what can you offer in terms of best practices and insights into how to get that done in an effective way?
Yeah, so it's not easy at some days, but what I would say is, when I first came to Reliance Matrix, one of the first things I had to do was build a team. I think a team, in a large organization, a corporate organization, I think you have to put people around you that you can trust, and they can trust you, right? It's a two-way street. And that's really what allowed me to be able to take on the additional responsibility at SSL. Is I felt like I had a very strong team that I built on the Reliance Matrix side, and they run that business without me in some cases, but I'm obviously still involved. But they just do such a great job, and they've done the same thing. We focused a tremendous amount of effort over the last many years to skill up all of our leaders, from our frontline supervisors up through our vice presidents, whether it's through training and experiences. We have programs through Tokyo Marine that we send our senior leaders through, or even mid-management level folks through, that really focus on leadership competencies and how can you be a better leader. And so that's a big one. You always, it takes a village, and it really does. You can't do it on your own, and you can say that really at any level, right? You have to be able to build trust. Ask for help, because that's a big one. It's not always easy to ask for help. You think you can do everything on your own, and a lot of times you can't. And it's overwhelming if you tried to do that, and you probably wouldn't. You get burnt out pretty quick. So I think that's probably the number one thing is, and it's not just delegation. It's really about building trust. I'm a big believer in that, and that if you can trust somebody and they understand, you got to have clear expectations. I think that's also another piece to that, and let them go and let them do what they do in their way, because I think that's important too. Act as an individual. Everybody does things differently, and I think being able to do that, even sometimes when I don't agree with maybe how they approached it, if they got the result and it worked for everybody, then that's okay. Or it's a learning experience. So it's okay to fail. It's just, as the old term goes, fail fast. So those are that's probably the biggest way to me to manage a large complex organization or two organizations.
So what I'm taking away from that is the team is vitally important, because you're surrounding yourself with the right people. and the communication is just as important because they have to know what their task is and how to complete it.
Correct.
And then the flexibility comes in sort of as the final step in allowing them to do things maybe a little bit differently than you would normally do them yourself.
Yep.
Because you may end up at an equal result or even better result depending on how they do it.
Absolutely.
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep.
I know it's incredibly valuable, but I also think the insights that we got out of this interview are going to be useful here in the company, but also to those who are listening that are on the outside, whether it be our insurance professionals, agencies, and brokers, our claimants who are asking about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, as well as employers who are looking to see, are we on the cutting edge? Are we going to implement future changes? And will we be coming soon to their state? So thank you for all these things. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's been great talking to you today, Hiram, and look forward to continue to provide a lot of value to our customers and our employees. So really excited to be here and appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed this inaugural episode of Simplicity in Statutory Coverage, a Standard Security life insurance company podcast. The next episode of the podcast will contain an interview with our claims department regarding updates to the recently released Statutory Disability Benefit Claim Form in New York State, Form DB 450. Please keep your eyes posted for notice on our social media homepages. Links can be found on our official website, www.sslicny.com.